All right. So, welcome to session 7. Good evening to all of you. Today, we will tackle one of the most talked about new saving tools for families. It's very, very new. Trump accounts. Okay. They were created by the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was signed on July 4th, 2025. And they go live for funding on July 4th, 2026. So exactly 1 year later, days from now. Okay. By the end of today, you'll know, at least you'll know what they are, how to claim the free $1,000 from the government, who can contribute, and how much can they contribute, and how the money grows, and what happens when your child turns 18. We're gonna learn all these things. One caveat before we dive in is the IRS issued initial guidance around the Trump accounts in December 2025. Okay, so let me just move this because this is right in my way. Okay, and proposed regulations in March 2026. That is, say, 3 months ago. So some details may still change because as final rules are published, it's not yet published. Treat today as solid working knowledge for you, because this working knowledge is not going to change. Only the regulations might change. And confirm the specifics before you act, so that you know all these things, but check once before you really hit the button and start acting, because rules are still in process. But I want you to be ahead of what's happening. So that's why we are doing this today. So what exactly is a Trump account? It's a brand new tax advantaged retirement account. Okay, so let this sink in. It's a tax advantaged retirement account designed specifically for children. Think of it as a modified traditional IRA. That's what you need to think of it as. Normally, in a regular situation, a child cannot fund its IRA, can't fund an IRA because they have no earned income. Okay. Trump accounts is removing that requirement of earned income. So any child under 18 with a social security number can have one Trump account. You can open and start funding starting July 4th, 2026. You can do it for your child, you can do it for your grandchild, and keep contributing through the end of the year. The child turns 17. Okay, there's just one account per child. Doesn't matter, there's only one account allowed per child. The goal is threefold. Okay, so what is the goal? It gives kids a head start on long-term savings. It supports families with newborns. Okay, number one, it gives kids a head start on long-term savings. Number two, support families with newborns. Number three, I'm sorry, something is going on here. Okay. Number three, build financial literacy very early, because suddenly US realized that the financial literacy is lacking. So this is one way so that the kids will know by the time they are 18 that they have an account, and they will start learning about it as one of the goals that they say is the reason for starting the Trump account. The feature most families really care about comes is the free $1,000. Okay, that's the thing that families care about. For example, a newborn obviously has no paycheck. Okay, so yet a parent can still open and fund an account in the baby's name. That's the earned income rule being waived. Okay, so a newborn child can have that. And a 15-year-old, say you have a 15-year-old with a summer job, he or she doesn't need to use that job income either. So the account works the same whether the child earns anything or not. Okay, so that is That is what this account is giving, a big advantage for. Okay, so here's the part that gets everyone's attention, right? The federal government will deposit $1,000 into your child's account at no cost to you. So what is the qualification for this? To qualify, the child must be born between 2025 and 2028. Only when a child is born between 2025 and 28, and the child is a US citizen and have a social security number. These are the three things required for getting $1,000 into your account. So you claim it by making an election. So how do you claim it? So this is what it is. There is an IRS form called 4547. Everybody can look it up. Please note it down and look it up. It's an IRS form 4547 through the official site trumpaccounts.gov. Okay, just put trumpaccounts.gov. You have an IRS form 4547. You can open the account there and claim the $1,000 at the same time. Okay, this is for children born between 25 and 28 that you can claim the $1,000. People who don't want to claim the $1,000, I will talk about it. You can also, the same rule applies to the people who don't want to, who will not get it, who are not eligible, but the kids are below 18. So they can open this account and start funding it. But this is the same way to open the account. Go to trumpaccounts.gov and see the IRS form 4547. Okay. Best of all, this $1,000 is a pre-tax government contribution. So that does not count against the annual limit. So there is an annual limit that is prescribed that you can put into the Trump account, but this $1,000 do not count. It's over and above that annual limit. Even if you never added another dollar yourself, which is the goal of the Trump account, is that even if parents are not able to add another dollar to the account, this still sits in the account for the 18-year-old so that there is something that they can look forward to. Okay. So they cannot even, I will be talking about what are the eligibilities and, how the accounts can be taken out and all those things. So that the compounding for decades that we spoke about in our first session is exactly what these people are trying to do to get this up and running. And I want you to think about economics in this whole scenario. What is going to happen if every child born between 25 and 28, I know $1,000 is not a big deal, but at least they have that compounding when they are 60 years old. Imagine what they have, even if they have not added a dollar. If they have added a dollar, that's even more, okay? So how to open an account? Step by step. Opening one is simpler than it sounds, okay? Confirm eligibility. The child must be under 18, have a social security number, then you get to capture $1,000. If you get to capture $1,000 if you're between 25 and 28. Otherwise, other rules is the same for children. Second, gather what you all need. You need child's social security number. You need child's proof of citizenship, such as maybe a birth certificate, and the parents or guardians' photo ID. These are the three things that are required for you to go and establish this. Step 3, you make the election to open the claim in one move. Okay, that's what you're doing. File IRS form 4547 or apply online on trumpaccounts.gov. Choose to receive 1,000 government contribution if your child is born between 25 to 28. Otherwise, just do it. You don't elect that you want $1,000. Next, step 4, fund it and invest it. Select a low-cost US stock index fund. They will give you, just like your 401k, they define where you have to invest. You cannot take that and invest in Tesla and all those stocks. That's not allowed. You have to put it in a US stock index fund, low cost. So if the budget allows for you, for every family, I know Indian budgets allow. So budget allows. So you all add a cash contribution by year end, remembering There's only one account per child. Don't try to do too many accounts because it will create penalty for you. There's a lot of a downside to doing that if they find out. Okay, so that much I can tell you. So initial custodians for Trump accounts are the US Treasury. Okay, they are going to be your initial custodians. You cannot open, say, you have Fidelity or Schwab or Raymond James or Merrill, or you cannot do anywhere because government decides that they are going to be the initial custodians of these Trump accounts. Bank of New York Mellon and Robinhood. Robinhood is only for tech interface. Okay, they are selected to do the tech interface when these accounts are just coming up. If there are thousands of accounts getting opened on trumpaccounts.gov, Robinhood is a place where you have technical difficulties. They will give a number that goes to Robinhood. They have to answer, solve the problem for you. That's all they are for. Okay, but the accounts are, the initial custodian is the US Treasury. Okay, and later on, they are talking about rollovers to other financial institutions after the launch, because this is just the beginning of the launch. Okay, let's overview of the custodians. Okay, so Trump accounts are custodial type traditional IRAs for children under 18. This is created under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. So the US Treasury Department administers these initial accounts, ensuring operational control. They have control over that, and they manage the $1,000 government seed contribution for eligible children born between 25 to 28. The Treasury has designated Bank of New York Mellon, BNY, as the official agent to build and oversee the infrastructure of these accounts. What is it responsible for? It's responsible for managing the initial accounts and ensuring institutional reliability. Okay, it needs to be reliable. You can, if they start opening everywhere, all over, government loses control. So they have chosen the custodians. That's exactly where you open. Leveraging its long-standing relationship with Treasury. BNY Mellon is supposed to be like, they have been working with government on many of the treasuries and other things as well. That's why they have been chosen. And of course, I told you Robinhood is the tech interface. So after the initial setup by the Treasury, families can roll over this Trump accounts to other financial institutions, to wherever you hold your accounts, which is still work in progress. We have these sessions. I will tell you when that work in progress is ready, and so that you can combine and see everything under one umbrella. But right now, it's only under the government side, just like your I-bonds that we spoke about, Treasury Gov, the same thing. This is something that trumpaccounts.gov. So it's only under the government website. So a quick example now. Let's picture a parent, okay, or a grandparent whose daughter or granddaughter, say Nina, was born in 2025. Okay, Nina is born in 2025. In July 2026, they go to trumpaccounts.gov, confirm their own identity. Okay, enter Nina's social security number, her birth details, and confirm whether it's a grandma or a ma. Whoever is doing that, mom will have to confirm their own identity. In the same session, they elect to open and claim the $1,000. Okay, no separate paperwork. Then they select a low-cost index fund. It's all step by step in trumpaccounts.gov, and set up a small, if you want, set up a small $50 a month contribution, or how much ever you can for doing that. Okay. Within one sitting, Nina should have an open account. The government's $100,000 on the way. $1,000 on the way, and money already positioned to compound for the next 18 years. It's that simple. They've made it really, really simple for all of us to do it. Okay, that's the whole idea of this $1,000 head start for children born between 25 and 28. Who can contribute is the next one. One of the most flexible features is who can put money into this. Family, friends, even the child can contribute up to $5,000 a year. It's only $5,000. Okay. Family, friends, child also can contribute up to $5,000 a year. These are after tax dollars. Okay. The 5,000 that you contribute for your child, or a grandma contributes for her grandchild, or a child contributes into the account, is after tax dollars. Okay, so even, and these are, and that create what's called basis. We know how it is, right? We have spoken about Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and all those kind of things, meaning they come back out tax-free later, because your money is put in. If you put that 5,000, that 5,000 will come out tax-free. Okay, so meaning they come back tax-free. And in this, the employers can also add 2,500 per employee per year pre-tax. Okay, if you add, it is after tax. If employer adds on behalf of you for your child, it is pre-tax. The government's 1,000 contribution is a pre-tax. So what's happening here? They have said that employers can chip in $2,500 for their employees' kids. They have 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, 4 kid, doesn't matter. They are allowed to put 2,500 as a benefit to their employee. The employee can decide whether he wants to give it to his 1 child or his 4 children. That is up to him. So 2,500 you want to distribute among 5 children, he can do that. But they are allowed to put $2,500. Okay, so now 2,500 per year pre-tax, but that count towards the 5,000 cap. The government, that means what happens? You can put only 2,500 because they are putting 2,500. The government's $1,000 sits on top. Okay, does not count in the 5,000 cap. So it is 6,000. Say you decided to max the account, 5,000 plus $1,000 from the government, $6,000. Then there are qualified general contributions from charities, states, municipalities, which have no cap. Okay, and don't count towards the 5,000. That's another thing. Like, for example, I don't know if you know, the famous example is the Dell's family pledge, right? The Dell's family has pledged to put $250 into accounts for eligible kids under 10 years old, 10 years and under in lower income zip codes. They are helping the kids in the lower income zip code by putting $250 into each of their accounts. This is a pledge coming from Dell family. Likewise, you have a lot of pledges that happen from a lot of families, foundations, endowments, and all those things. Those things sit over and above the $6,000. If it is, say, not a kid that is born between 25 to 28, forget about it. So you will have 5,000 that you bring on your own. And then if there is these kind of charity, something that you get, it sits over and above that. So all contributions must be made in cash. No saying that I have an appreciated security, let me just put it into that. Not allowed. Everything has to come via cash and deposited by the year end. It is not until your tax filing period. It is the year end, that is December 31st, 2026. Okay. For example, say an employer chips in $2,500 and the family adds $2,500. Together, that's $5,000. The annual cap is now full. No one else can add any regular contributions that year. If grandma wants to give a $50 check.
Hey. बोलो मैं कहना सारे चलते हैं.
Sure. But the caps that stack on top still apply. Okay. The government's one-time 1,000 lands on top of the 5,000. The 2,250 charity grant like the Dell program will apply on top. So in a single year, the child's account could receive 6,250 in total, or even more if there are more from the states and municipalities coming in, even though the contribution limit is 5,000. So qualified general contribution. This is, let me give you a different example. The thing that makes this special is that a charity, a state, a city gives them broadly to a group of eligible children, not earmarked, say, for one child by name, because they are general rather than targeted. Okay, they carry no cap. They don't count towards the 5,000. So let's talk about it. Here's an example for you, hypothetical, just to show the mechanics of how it works. Imagine your state launches a newborn head start. It happens. If you see states like, Arkansas and those kind of states, there is a newborn head start program that deposits $500 into the account of every baby that's born in that state. Okay, residents, they have their own way of, qualifying those things, eligibility or to stay for a certain number of years in that state, all those kind of things. But there are such programs available. So that deposits $500 into the account of every baby born to state residents that year. Okay, or a local community foundation usually pledges about, $1,000 to each child in a particular school district. Okay, if the school district in, say, Cleveland Heights or inner city school, there are so many foundations that come and pledge. There, what happens? It's to a group of students. So then they get that amount. They will say, okay, every student can get $1,000. So that thousand sits above all these things. So in that year, a family could still make full 5,000 of regular contribution, receive government's $1,000, get that state deposit of $1,000 on top, get that when there is a head baby, a newborn head start, they give you 500. You can put all those things. So those kind of things sits on top because the state or charity money stacks above the annual limit and isn't counted against it. I have not heard of such things in Ohio because Ohio is not considered a backward state, but there are states that's available that gives you all these kind of programs. Ohio has particular programs like this as charity foundations that give for STEM and those kind of things. Even those can be applied here. So let's talk about pre-tax versus after-tax. The employer's $2,500 and the government's $1,000 go in pre-tax, meaning tax deferred, you will be taxed when withdrawn. Okay, while what the parent adds goes in after-tax dollars. That's basis, and it comes back tax-free, with only its growth being taxed. Whatever grew, you have to pay tax, but you don't have to pay tax on the 5,000 that you put every year if you're putting in. The question that often comes up is like, I had a few questions already on this. Apparently, they work in Cleveland Clinic. And the question was that, if I'm working in Cleveland Clinic and if my child is like, it's a nonprofit hospital, is it considered like, a charity, or is it considered like whether a nonprofit is considered charity? No, nonprofit is not considered a charity. It's a non-profit hospital with Cleveland Clinic. If they decide to add, by the way, there is a big talk and a big push, government push going on in every state about adding this as a benefit to every employer. Just like how they have 401k, they will now have it. In my thing, the way they are pushing it, I'm thinking another 3, 4, 5 years, you will see that this is like a very common thing. It will be there in all of our benefits. So that's something that Trump wants to leave behind. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's okay. So it's like that if one generation of kids, the next generation of kids are going to inherit this much funds just like that, why not? Okay. So how to think about it? Being a nonprofit does not disqualify an employer. Okay. It neither qualifies as a charity nor they are going to disqualify them. They can still do it. The up to 2,500 employer contribution works exactly like 401k, as I told you, match any employer, whether for profit or tax exempt. They only have different names, 401k, 403b, but it is the same concept. They put the same money, they add the same match. Okay, so like a hospital, university, anything that you can think of is allowed to offer it, and the tax treatment is the same either way. It goes in pre-tax for the employee and counts towards the same 5,000 annual cap. The key word though is voluntary. Okay, an employer only contributes if it chooses to set up a program to do so. I told you they are pushing it, but right now they still say it's voluntary. So the law permits it, but does not require it as of now. Eventually it will, it is just a catch up thing. When somebody does it, 2 people do it, 3 people do it, everybody will start doing it. That's how the whole ball starts rolling. So it will come. So if Cleveland Clinic could add about $2,500 per eligible employee's child, but only if it decides to offer that benefit, it is not automatic. The practical answer for any family is the same. Ask your employer's HR or benefits department before whether they offer Trump account contribution. Okay, just as you would ask about a retirement match. Anytime you ask, right, what's my retirement match? I'm putting $24,500 every year. What are you matching me for? So that just as you would do that, do this. They can say we can put 2,500, or they can say I will put 1,000, whatever. But they will, if they are doing it, ask them. And because the IRS is still finalizing the rules, the exact way employers set these programs is still continuing to evolve. So confirm the specifics before counting on it. For now, I will say you can afford to add it and add it for your child's account. Okay, so which is a good thing. Now let's talk about the growth period from birth to 17 years of age. Okay, from the day you open the account to the year your child turns 17, you're in what's called the growth period, and it has its own rules. Okay, number one, investments are restricted. Okay, money can only go into low cost ETFs or low cost mutual funds, tracking a very broad US stock index. At least 90% of the US companies will be covered into that, so it's a broad index. An expense ratio should not be more than 10.10. They have already negotiated that. They have the index fund sitting on the trumpaccounts.gov when you do it, and and the cost is very, very low. No sector funds. We spoke about sector funds, rotation, and all those things. You cannot do all those things here. No leverage, no derivatives, no stocks, nothing. Second, no withdrawals are allowed during this period. Okay, except in rare cases, like you're trying to correct an excess contribution. By mistake, it went above $5,000 to say $6,000, then you're allowed to remove that $1,000. But other than that, or the death of a child. So when your child is no more, then you can withdraw it. The trade-off for these restrictions is years, potentially 18 of them. Okay, if you are doing it at the childbirth of tax advantaged compounding, it's going to compound for 18. For a newborn, you do the math. I've taught you compounding. That's an incredibly long runway. Okay. Here's an illustration I wanted to give, a small example of why that runway matters. These are hypothetical numbers, not a guarantee. Say the government $1,000 is invested at birth. We spoke about Nina, right? So $1,000 is invested at birth and earns roughly 7% a year on average. We always keep 7% because it's always more than that, but let's keep 7%. Left alone, it could grow somewhere around $3,400 by age 18. Okay. Now, 3,500 is nothing. Okay. Now, add just $50 a month on top of it, and the account could reach into, say, about $10,000 by that same age, all from small, steady deposit plus time in the market. Actually depends upon how the market performs, but we know we are keeping at 7%. Here's a bigger illustration. Okay. Suppose in year one, the account starts with the government's $1,000 and plus a family contribution of 5,000. Okay. From the family, 6,000. Then it's left to compound untouched. Okay. Only $6,000 untouched through the growth period at roughly 7% a year. That 6,000 could turn into somewhere around 25,000 by the time the child turns 18. More than 3 times the amount you put in. 4 times. Without adding another dollar. That's the power of full early contribution and 18 years of tax advantage compounding. As always, the real number depends on how the market performs. We are doing it with a 7%. Here's the variant that really lands, because this is what I think our moms can do. And this is very important. It's hypothetical, but it's important. Imagine the family that can contribute the full $5,000 every year, not just once. In that example, we said once. Here, you're going to contribute $5,000 every year on top of the government's $1,000, which it does only once. at roughly 7% a year, all those annual deposits compounding together will grow to somewhere around $175,000 to $200,000 by age 18. $200,000 on total contributions is only about 91,000. Okay, that's the difference. Steady, maxed out funding made over a long runway. Exact figure, of course, still depends upon the market. Now, stretch that max account across a full lifetime, because I didn't speak about the withdrawals, right? I'll be speaking about the withdrawals. These can't be taken away because it's a retirement account. I started telling you Trump accounts or retirement accounts. The kid will not be able to remove this account until they are 59 and a half. So when they are 59 and a half, now consider the same hypothetical scenario, not a guarantee. Take the version funded with the government's $1,000 plus $5,000 every year from birth to age of 17, left untouched to keep compounding under the IRA rules. The earliest the child can take penalty-free, tax-free withdrawals is age 59 and a half. At roughly 7% a year, that same 91,000 of contributions will be $3 million. Just wrap your head around it. It's $3 million. And I think our Indian families can easily do that. Okay, so that's more than 40 additional years of tax advantaged compounding after the final deposit. You cannot deposit after the child is 17 or done 18. You cannot put $1 into that account. You left it, and that's it. It grows until the child decides to take it out at 59 and a half. It's going to be $3 million account under the 7% scenario, which is why time in the market is a superpower. We have always spoken about it. I can't stress enough. Timing the market will never help you as much as time in the market. As always, the actual figure, of course, depends upon, markets have always done better than 7%. That's the truth. But I'm giving you just with this example. Okay. So next one, what happens when they turn 18? Everything changes. Starting January 1st of the year, your child turns 18. Okay. The account keeps the name Trump account. But from that point, it follows ordinary traditional IRA rules. Withdrawals become allowed for any purpose. Withdrawals become allowed for any purpose, but money taken before age 59 and a half may face ordinary income tax plus a 10% penalty. Unless there is an exception. I told you about the exception. If the child dies or something else, if the child dies or I gave you another reason. Yeah, those are the two reasons where you cannot take it without, or you pay a penalty. Okay, so no new Trump style contributions are allowed after 17. So unless the child has their own earned income, that's the caveat. If the child earns the money, because it becomes a traditional IRA, right? In traditional IRA, what happens? You have to put your earned income. That way the child can put the earned income. Here's my thing to this whole thing is, do it till the 17, don't mess it up. Just leave the Trump account alone for the kid. The kid will take it at 59 and a half when it becomes $3 million. Okay, so two powerful options open up. The balance can be, when you turn 18, there are two things that can happen. You can roll over into a standard IRA and a Roth conversion becomes available. So when you decide at 18, let me just convert this to Roth so that I don't have to worry about paying tax at 59 and a half. Good idea, but you have to pay the tax. So 91,000 what you have put in is nothing, right? Compared to $3 million where you will pay tax. Just pay the tax and convert it into a Roth and keep it in the child's name and forget it. That grows tax free, and then the child can use it whenever they want it. So that's something that's available. Converting at 18 could mean decades of completely tax-free growth. This is where good planning will really pay off to you. So let's do an example. Suppose an 18-year-old pulls 2,000 out of pre-tax money out to buy a used car. Say 18-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds always have a need of a car and, some house they want to live in. They want to live on their own. So they want this. So they want to pull 2,000 pre-tax money out to buy a used car. That 2,000 gets taxed as ordinary income. Okay. Without an exception, it also takes the 10% penalty. So about 200. So an early withdrawal can be very costly. Contrast that with leaving it in and converting it to a Roth at 18. Okay, that's the real scenario. They pay tax once on the pre-tax portion now, while the balance is small, and every dollar of growth after that can come out completely tax-free in retirement. But Roth accounts, you have access to the money after 5 years of funding that. So you still have an option in 5 years to take that money. So that's the difference between, how you think about this whole Trump account. Even children who have 10 years old kids, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, you still have a little runway. Put that 5,000. You're not like me where I don't have kids in that age group of 18 under where, you have that option to put. You don't. But people who have, put it. It's nothing. It may be $20,000, but it's a big deal when it grows compounded like that and the child gets it after they are 59 and a half. Why not? And how withdrawals are taxed. I wanted to give an example and tell this so that you understand how it is. Let's make the tax treatment concrete with the IRS own example. Okay. Say the account is worth, say Nina's account is worth 10,000. Okay. Her parents contributed 4,000 over the years. That's after tax basis. I told you whatever parents put is after tax. She received $1,000 government contribution. We said that because she's born in March. And the remaining 5,000 is earnings. Okay. The $1,000 and the 5,000 of earnings is 6,000 total or pre-tax. Now, Nina withdraws $1,000. The pro rata rule says the tax-free portion equals the ratio after tax dollars to the total. What does that mean? Okay, it's a little confusing. This is the same thing when you do even backdoor Roths. When you have a tax account, IRA tax account, and you're doing a backdoor Roth, they tell you sometimes you must have heard them say that, oh no, you have a big IRA account. We cannot do this because the pro rata rule will apply. So what does that mean actually? So the pro rata rule says that tax-free portion equals the ratio of tax dollars to the total. So 4,000 divided by 4,000 is the one that, the parents of Nina contributed. So 4,000 divided by 10,000, which is 40%. So 40% of the $1,000 that she wants to withdraw, which is $400 will come out tax-free. 40% is only $400. The $600 will be taxed as ordinary income. Okay, plus a 10% penalty. If no exception, if she's trying to get it in 30-year-old, then she has to pay a 10% penalty on that. The takeaway, your own after-tax contributions always come back clean. Growth and pre-tax pieces get taxed on the way out. Whatever is grown and whatever is put by the government or the employer, these will be taxed once it comes out. Ordinary income tax plus penalty if you take it before 59 and a half. That's how the withdrawals are going to work. Which account fits? Trump accounts don't replace the tools you already know, they join them. Okay, it's just another account. A 529 is still the best choice if your main goal is education. Growth is tax-free for qualified tuition. Many states offer a tax reduction and up to 35,000 of unused funds can be moved into a Roth IRA every year. Okay, that we know. We spoke about Roth IRA. A UTMA account offers the most flexibility, which is usually done by a minor. Okay, any investment, any amount, but few tax breaks. The Trump account shines when your child is eligible for free government, employer, or charity money because that's essentially free money with a long time horizon. If funds are limited, choose accounts based on your primary goal. And remember, At the age of majority, your child gains control of both the Trump account and UTMA balances, so plan accordingly. At 18, everything is their choice. You don't have a choice in anything. Knowing that, act wisely because you all know your children better than anyone. For example, a family saving mainly for college would lean on the 529, where growth is tax free for tuition. A family whose newborn qualifies for the free $1,000 and maybe an employer contribution on top would prioritize the Trump account to capture that money. And grandparents who simply want to gift with no strings attached, they want to say they want to give some gift of stock and things like that, then UTMA is good because you cannot do stocks and all in this account. Plenty of families use all these things at once, sizing each to a specific goal. That's important. I think we all fall in that. We are families that can use all these three accounts types, sizing into what goal we have. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the Trump accounts. Now just let's pull it together into a simple action plan. One, if your child was born in 25 through 28, open the account and claim the $1,000. That's the single highest value step and it is free. Two, contribute what fits your budget up to $5,000 a year and ask whether your employer offers a contribution. Eventually they will start because there is a big push from the government. And remember to check for any state or charity program in your area since that money stacks on top of the $5,000. Three, let it compound in those low cost index funds through the age of 18 and resist the urge to tinker. They don't allow you to tinker, but please don't tinker. Four, revisit the strategy when your child turns 18. A Roth conversion can be a game changer for a tax-free growth. A small, smart step at birth can quietly become a lifetime of tax advantage savings. Okay, so that is Trump accounts. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer because I'm also learning along the way. We still have so many things that needs to come together. Thank you. Any questions?
I don't see any questions, Padma.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, but this was a great session, especially I do have a question. This is only for kids born from 25 to 28, but at the same time, you say, up to 17 or up to 18. So if a kid
Yeah.
was born in 24, they are not eligible.
They are eligible for your contribution, not the contribution of the government.
For $1,000, not
Yeah.
for the $1,000 of the
Not
government.
the
Okay.
$5,000. You can still put. If your child is 10
Okay.
years old, 15 years old, you can still put.
Okay. All right. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, it says contributions. Okay, stops at 17 or 18
Yeah.
by parents. Okay, Preeti Venkatramani has written. So is that a
For
question? Contribution stops at 17 or 18 by
for
parents.
this, yeah, for this particular account, yes. It has to
Okay,
stop when the child turns 18 that year.
yeah. And can a child of 26 get this account? I believe
No.
so, right? Because no,
No.
of
How can a child of
2020.
only between 8 and only till they are 18?
No. Is it we does that mean 2026? Because 25 to 28, if it is, then 26
If
will
it is
also fall
year
in that.
26, yes, but I think this are asking age 26. No,
Oh,
age 26, no.
okay, age 26 will not work. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no other questions so far.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Padma. I think this is a great way for us to get our kids started on retirement, apart from college fund and everything else that we need to use the principle of compounding. So this has
Yeah.
been a great session. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
very much for taking the time to put together all these.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
because I realized it is because Monday it goes live.
Right.
So
Yeah.
people would want to go there and look at it and see what the eligibility. Eligibility, I think everybody has.
Yeah.
Only the kids that are born between, say, the when the kids are born between say 25 to 28, they can open. I mean
Okay.
25 now, 25, 26, 27, 28, 4 years he's going to give that. I think he will still continue to give or not. We will see.
Okay. One last question I just see by Priya, time period on when this account has to be opened.
Um, the accounts can be opened anytime now. Right now, they haven't restricted anything. So
Oh,
because they're just opening, just like your 401k, traditional IRA accounts, you open whenever you feel like. So it just open whenever you feel like. But go to trumpaccounts.gov and start doing it. Okay?
okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I think these are all the relevant questions. There's one question that says, can these talks be on days other than Wednesday or Thursday? I mean, this seems to have worked out for all of us right now. We will reconsider when we, resume because we're considering taking a break now. So we will think about that in future, I
Yeah,
would
we
say.
we we're
Yeah.
thinking like we'll take a break because it's summer. Students are many of them are going to India and all that. But I leave it to the admins. You all decide how you think we should do, and we can.
Okay. All right. Sounds
Okay?
good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Padma. This has been
Okay.
another illuminating session.
Yeah.
You
Thank
take care,
you.
lady. Good night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
Madhvi, you
Good
want to stop
night.
recording? Yes.
Take
Bye.
care.
Goodbye.